It is really good to be here at Tsunami. Books. Damn right. I've been looking forward to this gig. I've been looking forward to this gig for a long time. It's a long way down here from Seattle, but it's worth it. So I wrote this little song, and it's called Make It to the Moon. And I do it because this is Tsunami Books, and that's Scott over there. And you got the Hodads, and you got the whole... There's a history to this stuff, right? You might think that I think that it's all come and gone, and I might think that you think it's been here all along. But we all know each other, there are no strangers here. So take a seat and sit on it and grab yourself a beer. Living in the shadows of doom, try to make it to the moon, not a moment too soon. Nobody can tell you how the needle threads the eye. You gotta find out for yourself, so go give it a try. And if someone's on your pathway standing, just go walk around. Tangents almost always lead to a better part of town. When you're living in the shadows of doom, trying to make it to the moon, not a moment too soon. I remember Owsley out behind the purple haze, with his vast expanding road maps that went on for days. There were cliffs of eager danger, there were demons of design. There was jewelry for the taking in the caverns of your mind. We were living in the shadows of doom, trying to make it to the moon, not a moment too soon. They said the Kerouac came by when he was passing through, carved his initials in the woodwork like anyone would do. Now there are books above the tables, you may read them if you choose, as you listen to the reggae sing the Mexico City blues. Living in the shadows of doom, trying to make it to the moon, not a moment too soon. Oh, the steamrollers of entropy, they plunder through the town. And if you're old and in the way, well, they just might knock you down. But sometimes that pendulum swings the other way, and then you dance and celebrate and fight another day. Be laughing at the shadows of doom, 'cause you made it to the moon, not a moment too soon. Oh, there always is an ocean when you're standing on the shore, and when the clocks run out of hours, they don't ask for any more. There is nothing so important, you can't hang it from a string. So it's best to just be easy, let the music do its thing. When you're living in the shadows of doom, and you made it to the moon, not a moment too soon. This is a song about one of those steamrollers of entropy. It's called Amazon, and it's owned by a guy named Jeff Bezos, who's the richest human being on the planet. Last year, not last week or last month, but last year, and you know how things like ratchet up and they get going, right? And they just kind of like they expand. Last year, he was making $3,000. A minute? Might have been a minute. It was ridiculous. A lot of downtown is owned by Bezos these days, and there's an Amazon, headquarters down there and stuff. And they built these big spheres. He calls them the spheres. We call them the balls. And there's 3 of them, and the main purpose of them is so that we'll all go wow. I mean, when you think about it, that is the main purpose of them. So we will all go wow. They have jungles in them. Plants that were taken, trees, shrubs, ferns that were taken from jungle region in different places in the planet, that are not native and would die in Seattle if they were let out into the open air. And so it's climate controlled, and it's a thing. So I went down there and looked at it one night, and I went back and I wrote this little song. We live in a boomtown metropolis, a place where success is a weapon of war. Some people live in spectacular mansions. Some people can't afford to live anywhere anymore. But Bezos has the money. He's got all of that money. More than $100 billion in his pants. Way down in his pants. They built a shiny new temple to themselves downtown. People genuflect as they pass. Artificial sunlight and climate control, so they can colonize the jungle behind a pane of glass. And because Bezos has the money, he's got all of that money clutching in the fingers of his hand. He's a rich man. Amazon, you don't have the right to use that name. Amazon, it is a nation and a people. Amazon, one of the world's greatest rivers. Amazon, it is the lungs of the planet, and we can barely breathe anymore. We gather together to see what is to be done. We know the risks we take are perilous. We sharpen up our wits for the days ahead to come. Somebody has to, and it might as well be us, because we have the history. We know what we are doing, and we will not just disappear. We're going to stay right here. Amazon, you don't have the right to use that name. Amazon, it is a nation and a people. Amazon, one of the world's greatest rivers. Amazon, it is the lungs of the planet, and this is our planet, and it is not for sale. You're coming up from South California. You're coming out from old Boston town. You're looking at the beautiful trees and the water. You're thinking about settling down. You've been hearing about all of the money, dreaming of a house on the hill, thinking that you might get lucky, and maybe there's room for you still. So you're driving up with everything you got in that car, or you're flying in on a plane, and then you take in the bus in the downtown, and that's the last that you saw of your dream. Because yes, they've got all of that beauty, and yes, they got money to burn, but they also got people living under the freeway, and that's where your road takes a turn. Seattle is a Garden of Eden. It's a paradise to live in or see. But believe it or not, you'll be living in a parking lot if you ain't got the do-re-mi. Now maybe you came by yourself, maybe you brought family too, and maybe you got some skills you can use, and maybe you're gonna just have to make do. You've been looking for work online at the library, thinking that you'll make it somehow, but you ran out of money for that room on Aurora, and you're wondering where to go now. Well, you could live in your car if you had one. There are plenty of people who do, but they towed it away to the impound, and now you're wearing a hole in your shoe. You see rock and roll heroes and sports stars, millionaires out on the town, and those people living under the overpass, the cops just keep moving them around. Seattle is a Garden of Eden. It's a paradise, that's what they say. But believe it or not, you'll be living in a parking lot if you can't make it pay. Now the mayor's a liberal, the council is mixed, and there's a socialist riding on board. And they raised up the minimum to $15 an hour. That's the least that the boss could afford. Still you're sleeping on a cardboard mattress, and your house on the hill is a tent, and they could freeze all the prices right now, but you still couldn't pay for the rent. Now some people tell me there's nothing you can do about it. It's just human nature, they claim. This is the greatest system in the world. It just needs a little lube on the chain. Well, me, I got a better idea. I say let's shut it all down. Let's defang the bankers and sink all the tankers and spread all the money around. 'Cause Seattle is a Garden of Eden. It's a paradise at the end of its line. So let's put it out with the curbside recycling and try to do better next time. This thing is a trick. Okay, it's also an instrument, and I love it. It's a beautiful instrument. You can play beautiful music. You can play Beethoven on this thing. You know, you could do Thelonious Monk on this thing. But it's a trick. People go, oh, he's playing the guitar. And then they listen. And you can say things to them. You can go like this. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. And these are tricks. This is a cut capo. So I can get basically an open tuning without doing an open tuning. Funny how we get used to things. Funny how we get used to things. Now I went out this morning and the flags were half-mast. Something must have happened, but the news went by so fast. Funny how you get used to things. Now I don't even remember their names or where they're from. Life takes over and things come undone. Funny how you get used to things. And if I was a frog in the water and the water was getting hot, I might just swim around a while, 'cause I like it a lot. Funny how I get used to things. You don't even feel it. What does too late look like from a distance? Would you know you were getting close? Would they welcome you in and say, you're the one we love the most? Is that what it feels like when you're getting used to things? And if I was a canary in a coal mine and the gas was getting thick, I probably wouldn't be able to do anything about it anyway, 'cause I'd be getting sick. Funny how I get used to things. He walked into the building when everybody was there. He killed a whole lot of them just like that, and you wonder why people are scared. They can't get used to it. It's not normal. Whatever may be the reason, when the rays begins to spin, somebody don't like your looks, they might just do you in. I can't get used to it. So I'm packing up my baggage and I'm headed for the road. There's a future with my name on it, ready to explode, and I can't get used to it. It's not normal. No, I can't get used to it. Oh, I never will. You gotta be kidding, want me to be nice? Back up, buddy, let me give you advice. You ever see a mouse being nice to a cat? You ain't gonna make it like that. Because nice doesn't make any waves. Nice doesn't move any mountains. Nice doesn't make any noise. Let's make some noise. Well, it's time to burn down that pompous facade, that rotten racket, that house of fraud. Chains don't break because you asked them to. I'm making a fist, buddy, how about you? Because nice doesn't make any waves. Nice doesn't move any mountains. Nice doesn't make any noise. Let's make some noise. Hand me that wrench now, let's take turns, and maybe we can open this can of worms. Make some plans, draw some straws, and if we have to, we can break some laws, because nice doesn't make any waves. Nice doesn't move any mountains. Nice doesn't make any noise. Let's make some noise. Now I can see the future looking back in disgust. Their whole wide world is depending on us. We can't let them down. So let's get together and go downtown. Fighting fire with fire don't make any sense. You gotta use the water in the present tense. Not the nice kind of water where the rich folks swim, but the fiery kind that you drown in. The kind that raises like a great big wave and drowns the palace and the promenade, that turns it all over like a tumbling dice. Now that kind of water isn't very nice, but nice doesn't make any waves. Nice doesn't move any mountains. Nice doesn't make any noise. Let's make some nice doesn't make any waves. Nice doesn't move any mountains. Nice doesn't make any noise. Let's make some noise. Oops, hold on. Well, you can see what they show, you can hear what they say. Oh, but it doesn't make sense when you do it that way. How many trees in the forest have to fall down and rot before we all understand if we make it or not? Oh, the ones with the muscle and the flex of the fist are never as strong as the ones who resist. And it's that old danger behind the new face, and there ain't nothing new in the same old place. So try to explain how I went down the drain, because nothing rhymes with orange. From out of the depths of the television swamp, they came with the swagger and the brag of the pomp, with the 10-second memory train to forget, so you don't recognize who you already met. And they stood in the field all wrapped in the flag, saying this is our country, it's here in the bag. And they ran up a candidate rolling in gold, saying there is your greatness, it's a sight to behold. And the money is there at the top of the stairs. Oh, but nothing rhymes with orange. Now, some said, hold on now, give him a chance. You can't judge a snake by a cursory glance. Oh, but this reptilian familiar is known by the size of his hands and the guilt of his throne, by the wreckage that's left in the wake of the storm, and the poisonous bite at the terminal norm. And there are no blinders that'll make it appear any better than it did this time last year. So cover your eyes from the blinding surprise, because nothing rhymes with orange. fear is a door that's always locked up tight, and it's best not to open till the timing is right. When you get all your plans and your ducks in a row, step back and take cover, let the dynamite blow. And there's no turning back now, events are in motion. The tempers are rising and so are the oceans. And it's only a matter of time until then, when either we sink or either we swim, and the lifelines that are thrown will be those of our own, because nothing rhymes with orange. Yeah.
I just pulled out the rhyming dictionary, and the closest to orange in rhyming is unhinged.
I know it's not what it's unhinged. I'm sorry, I was going to respond and I didn't actually hear what you said. That's great. That's fabulous. Last summer my car was stolen. Oh, I know, but you know. Before it came back, I talked to all my friends that, you know, people told me stories. And two people had different versions of the same story, which was that their car was stolen and then was found with homeless people living in it. And I thought about that, you know. Now, it doesn't tell you that the homeless people stole the car. It doesn't tell you that. But it does tell you that somebody needs a place to live and they're living in your car. And it's set up this kind of, I think like a pinball machine, if that makes any sense. So I did this. She lives in a stolen car down by the river. Maybe my stolen car, and if it was, I'd probably forgive her. She comes from Iowa or maybe Tennessee. Wound up stranded, don't you see? Oh, don't you see? Stranded in a stranded town. Money is as money does, and that's the reason why the windows all get dirtier when somebody like her passes by. It's a duality of opposites in this part of town. Everything is shiny new, or else it's broken down. Stranded in a stranded town. My hands are cleaner than the hands of some of theirs. Oh, but the dirt is in the system, and it's everywhere. And And there is no antiseptic that will do this kind of dirt. We're gonna have to amputate. And it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt. Stranded in a stranded town. Storm clouds are coming, rain is pouring down. Water seeks its own level, and it's that level where we drown. Stranded in a stranded town. In between the mirrors of success and blind ambition, is there anybody accountable? Or is it just a random imposition? We bury them in landfills beyond the shadows of our doubt. We honor them with candles, and then we blow them out. Stranded in a stranded town. This is called the green tea of your mind. I'm going to get off course now. We're getting into some dark areas, people living in cars and, mass killings and so on like that. We're going to get off there a little bit and kind of, do some other kinds of songs so that we don't go mad. Okay? So that we can, so we can maintain our sanity and sharpen up our wits. Because we're going to have sharp wits and not crazy to get through all this stuff, right? And it's called the green tea of your mind, and it goes like this. The rain in the morning, the bright afternoon, the days of our lives that are over too soon, the ripples of incident rise up and fall. There's so much to know, you can't measure it all. Away to the city, somewhere there to find a way out of this great big impossible bind. An old man with a dog, a woman in a chair. You never know what you'll find till you get there. The eyes of tomorrow, the arrow of time. If you can't take it with you, you leave it behind. Like a jewel in the ocean or wash in the brine, as seen through the green tea of your mind. She said if I could just get up, away and fly, I'd write my name like a bird in the sky. He said the sky isn't big enough for what you have to say, and you speak your own language anyway. It was a good town for music, and they found a little bar where there were people in the mix and whiskey in the jar, and the music was medicine for the way that you feel, and maybe that's how we all have to heal. The eyes of tomorrow, the arrow of time. If you can't take it with you, you leave it behind. Like a jewel in the ocean or wash in the brine, as seen through the green tea of your mind. Some people have everything laid out on a platter. Some people don't care, and what does it matter? You face up to your burden, or you turn tail and run. It's the hand that you're dealt, and everyone gets one. You did a lot of drinking in your way back when, and one of these days you might do it again. But for now it's the green tea that suits you just right. Away in the morning, good luck and good night. The eyes of tomorrow, the arrow of time. If you can't take it with you, you leave it behind. Like a jewel in the ocean or wash in the brine, as seen through the green tea of your mind. See what you think of this one. It's okay if you gotta go. I don't mind. Thanks for being here. I like playing here for a whole bunch of reasons. The sound is really good in here, and it has to do with all those books to keep it kind of soft, you know what I'm saying? And also because there's books, and books are the printed word, and the printed words represent thoughts. Even in spite of whatever condition you might be in before you get here, you find yourself open to ideas, which makes it really nice for somebody like myself, who might not have any ideas, but does like to appear to have ideas. This is for my buddy Joe out there in Cottage Grove. And anybody who has friends who are referred to as language Nazis. You know what I'm saying? They're always correcting you on your spelling or something like that. You know what I'm saying? We all know. When I was dyslexic, I lived in a town where all of the language was floating around. We ate with our fingers off platters of grass and took in strangers when they ran out of gas. Oh, I was thinking in pictures, I had fun with my words. Cattle and zebra in high-flying herds, and if they never came down, it was more than I cared. 'Cause I was dyslexic and we were everywhere. When I was dyslexic, I couldn't be cool. It was flimsy and weird to be kept after school. With my tongue on the ironing board of the law, I was permanent pressed until I fit to the flaw. Oh, it passes in phases like phases will do, and my language constructions eventually grew. My spelling's still whimsical, but isn't it all? The words are like water flowing over the falls. Now I'm no longer dyslexic, at least most of the time, but I lapse when it suits me to spice up a rhyme or to stay out of reach of the language police. Life is too short for that kind of caprice. Well, you can try to correct me. Well, good luck with that. I've avoided the experts, the profs and the frats. I say what I see and I see what I say, and I also wear glasses because I like it that way. This is the instrumental break. And you can get kind of dyslexic and go. Oh, the rules of reality are slippery thin, and there's more than one way for a cat to get in. Try to enforce such an obvious sham, and we'll laugh in a language you don't understand. We'll laugh in a language you don't understand. Yeah, we'll laugh upside down. We'll laugh backwards. Well, I'm awakening in the morning to a big surprise, and that big old sun is trying to rise. But there's something weird going on around town. Every time it goes up, it just comes back down. So I roll up my sleeves, and I jump right in. Dark matter coming on me again. Dark matter coming on me again. Well, now let me guess, I can figure it out. You put a ship in the bottle, now I can't get it out. The eye of the needle and a 2x4. Seems like nothing really fits together anymore. It's a mess. And I don't know what to do. Dark matter, I'm depending on you. Dark matter, I'm depending on you. When I Paul Revere did a midnight ride, meeting Joan of Arc by the riverside. It was almost a great and a glorious day, but they couldn't remember what they were supposed to say. So they took out their guitars and they started to sing. Dark matter getting into everything. Dark matter getting into everything. Well, now Stephen Hawking said to Neil deGrasse, this theoretical stuff is a pain in the ass. Says Neil, well, what are you trying to say? And Steve says, well, I'll get back to you later today. You know, it's just that it would make more sense if dark matter would just get off the fence. Dark matter Yeah, just get off the fence. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it isn't there. Dark matter everywhere. Dark matter everywhere. Well, I fell in love with a friend of mine. She was a walking on a tightrope line. I was crawling on my hands and knees. We bumped into each other, said, "Excuse me, please. Do I know you? Was this meant to be, or is just dark matter messing around with me?" Dark matter messing around with me. So I took a leap and I went so high, I blew a hole right through the sky. And I swam like a fish in ethereal brine, till I left the whole damn solar system behind. You ask me why I'm leaving? Well, I'll try to make it clear there's just too much dark matter around here. Dark matter. Yeah, too much around here. Dark matter. Get me out of here. No one can sing the blues like Lightnin Hopkins. I don't care what anybody said. I was 15 years old riding by the passenger window with my radio up against my head. Now that's when I heard him for the first time, cutting in through the noise of the car, and my whole world turned upside down. Yes, it did. I just had to learn to sing and play guitar. So I got on my bicycle with the high-rise handlebars, and I would ride for 20 miles on a run. I got every one of his records I could find back then. I had 11 of them by the time I was done. And I never learned to play the blues. I hope that's all right. I never learned to play the blues, but I can sing and play guitar all night. Now, years later, up in Seattle town, Lightnin came to playing 3 nights in a row. I caught up with him early in the dressing room. Somehow I just had to let him know. So I took out my guitar and I started playing. And I made him up a song to tell it right, about the radio, the car, and all of his records, and how glad I was to meet him that night. And I sang about what he taught me without even knowing it, and all the lessons I still had to learn. And Lightnin, he just grinned. Yeah, when I was done, he told me a story in return. And I never learned to play the blues. I hope that's all right. I never learned to play the blues, but I can sing and play guitar all night. Now this is what he told me. He said he was walking around the backwoods down in Texas one time when he was only 12 years old. He was carrying his guitars almost as big as he was. He was tired, hungry, and cold. He saw some people were having a picnic, and he asked if he could sing for his meal. They turned him away, he said, because he was too raggedy. He could still remember how it made him feel. Then he looked off into the distance through his dark sunglasses, and he grinned a little more just for chance. He said, now I got money in the bank back home, and they know who I am in France. And I never learned to play the blues. I hope that's alright. I never learned to play the blues, but I can sing and play guitar all night. Now, Lightnin died back in '82. I can still remember where I was and how I heard. I was playing the meeting place in Dublin. Local blues singer gave me the word. Now, some people, they pass right through you, and maybe they leave a little mark. Some people shine like a light for you sometimes, help you find your way when it gets dark. They said that this world is made of stories, and from these stories our songs are grown. Sometimes, you know, the songs just get so big, you have to go out and make a song of your own. And I never learned to play the blues. I hope that's alright. I never learned to play the blues, but I can sing and play guitar all night. One more time. The song is about Rachel Corrie, and it's based on some of the emails that she sent home to her parents. You all know who Rachel Corrie was, probably. And I wrote it in her voice, and I decided quite consciously not to put her name in there for two reasons. First, the obvious one is if it's in her voice, she's not going to say her own name. You'd have to change perspective every time you came to the chorus or something, and that would just be weird. And in the second place, if you don't put the person's name in there, then it becomes a larger story, a much larger story. And if you know it's Rachel Corrie, that's just fine. And if you don't know it's Rachel Corrie, you're going to say, who's that? Maybe it's me. You know, I was always the one. I could never stand idly by. I watched while the bullies beat up on the weaker ones. I had to do something to try. And I never gave up on people. That we could be better somehow. Morality's compass, you gave it to me, and I still follow it now. Well, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I couldn't get it out of my mind. The pictures, the stories to apply to the people in occupied Palestine. How my government makes me complicit with the political aid that they send. So I packed up my bags and I headed to Rafah to work with the ISM. And I'd rather be dancing, dancing and falling in love. But if I can just watch from a distance, then what am I made of? Mama, these people are so good to me. They treat me like a one of their own. They feed me and see to my needs. They let me sleep in their homes. And Papa, their lives are so hard. The gunshots every night, the roadblocks, the strip searches, humiliations. Papa, it just isn't right. Well, I can feel my privilege. It's there in my American face. I could wave my passport around like a flag and I would be safe in this place. For these child soldiers of Israel, they look like the boys back home. And if it wasn't for American money, they'd have to leave these people alone. And I'd rather be dancing, dancing to Pat Benatar. Oh, but somebody has to do something about it. And here we are. The tractors are coming today. They're like tanks with bulldozer blades. The name on the side says Caterpillar, and that means they're American made. Well, I am American too, and I'll be where everybody can see. So if they want to run over those houses today, they're gonna have to run over me. Well, it's dangerous taking a stand, but it's dangerous running away. And sometimes you have to face up to the danger. There just is no other way. For there are such beautiful dreams I have seen in the eyes of a child. And if I can just make one little difference, then I think my life is worthwhile. And I'd rather be dancing. Instead I'm saying goodbye. We'll meet again when it's over. Don't cry. And I'd rather be dancing, and surely we'd all rather be. And someday we'll dance in a world that's peaceful and free. Thank you. This is a Eugene song. I loved it here when I was here. Ghost bikes. Ghost bikes. Ghost bikes. Ghost bikes. Bicycles. All over town. Dangerous streets, they'll run you down. Memorialized among the stars, with wildflowers on your handlebars. Ghost bikes. Ghost bikes. Bicycles, as free as a breeze. What could be more humane than these? like petal birds. That's what they are. Don't stand a chance against a car. Ghost bikes. Ghost bikes. This country was built on petroleum wheels, factory whistles and business deals. You could be a trader to the bottom line. You know they don't even see you till it's too late sometimes. Ghost bikes. Ghost bikes. Somebody got hit on a Saturday night. They took a bicycle and they painted it white. Now it's a ghost bike. Poetry and an epitaph, keepsakes and a photograph. Could have been somebody that you almost knew. Could have been you. Ghost bikes. Ghost bikes. A long time ago, somebody invented a wheel. And somebody else said, well, this is going to be a big deal. Humanity is going to have to decide whether to asphyxiate itself or go out for a ride. Ghost bikes. Ghost bikes. Ghost bikes. You want to change the world, do it one step at a time. Get out of that dinosaur and leave it behind. Ghost bikes. So write a poem, sing a song. Life goes on, so get back on and ride for everybody who has ever ridden before, and ride some more. Ghost bikes. Ghost bikes. The entire history of the Irish, of the Northern Irish thing is, let me pay attention to what I'm doing here. Yeah, that's the right place. Is in a street sign in Derry, a town called Derry. You know, if you're a loyalist, you want to call it Londonderry, you know, whatever. But Derry, I call it Derry because, you know, there's a wall, and it's like 700 years old or something, and it's because of the old walled city of Derry. I mean, it's a conquered country, right? and there was a fort there or something. So I was walking around the top of this wall, and I saw this, police vehicle down below. They're armored personnel carriers. At least they were in those days. So I'm watching it down below, and they're talking to a lady. I just watch. It doesn't look like anything's really going on. So I'm just watching, and I noticed the street sign of where they're standing. It's a street corner. This is it. They're standing at the corner of London and Artillery. And I'm not making that up. Anyway, it was 1970. Way down where I was born and raised, and where I spent my younger days, there were roads to travel by, to take us to the long goodbye. I left home when I was 17, lost and lonely, seldom seen, and I put out my thumb and I headed east, searching for the great release. And so along, come and go along, so along, come and go. Oh, I tumbled into a dirty town, penniless and broken down, and I slept on rooftops, scavenged meals, and dodged the dirty driving wheels. And I met some fine and friendly folk, and some who'd kill you for a joke. And I put myself out there to find, how would my tangled self unwind. And so along, come and go along, so along, come and go. One morning early, hot and dry, some switchblade strangers passing by directly pointed in my face, freezing all the world in place. And that was when I made my sense, and I carried it with me ever since, that I would not be turned around by this or any other town. And so along, come and go along, so along, come and go. And so, my friend, and now you know, no defeat nor mortal blow, just follow where the road will lead to another dream defeat. And so along, come and go along, so along, come and go. right, this isn't very long, but it goes like this. If I die in my sleep while dreaming of you, would I fall in the water and swim? Would the sky be unlikely to fly me away, or open to welcome me in? And if I call your name as I fall into nothing, would it sound like a watery bell? Oh, and if I disappear in a whisper, would anybody know where I fell? And these are questions I ask as days go by. I see old friends disappear. Some people say that they know where we go, but I don't think it's all that clear. And there are canyons of laughter, oceans of tears, wherever you hang your hat. Serious questions for serious people, but I don't want to live like that. So I fill my glass full of good clear water, and I drink to the ways of the world. I came in stumbling, and so I will go out to where the future unfurls. And if anyone asks, if anyone calls for where I do repair, I tell them that the wind has come and gone, and they can find me out there somewhere. And if I could die in my sleep while dreaming of you, would I dive in the river and swim? The sky be unlikely to fly me away, or happy to see me again. And if I call your name as I fall into nothing, would it sound like a faraway bell? Oh, and if I disappear in a whisper, would anybody know where I fell? Oh, sometimes I wonder when I'm all at sea and my imagination gets the best of me. I'm feeling disconnected. I'm looking for a light. Oh, and I'm afraid to ask, but I wonder if I'm loving you right. Everybody gets so weary. It's a weary day. Oh, and then the words we use aren't what we mean to say. Misunderstandings, well, they can play us so rough. Times like these that I wonder if my love is enough. Now tell me, Tell me if there's something you need. Tell me, so I won't be the last to know. Every silver lining has a demon seed. We gotta get it out in the open so we can let it go. I love to watch you sleeping when the night is so still. Oh, when silver moonlight comes in through the windowsill. And tell me if there's room for me in your dreams tonight. Oh, and then tell me if I'm loving you right. Oh, when I'm afraid to ask, but I wonder if I'm loving you right. Tsunami came to the plains, I'm told, from way up east to where the weather gets cold. And she said, I hear there's been trouble down here. They said, trouble, we've been getting trouble every year. Anna May made a vow by the fire that night that she would give her life to the people's fight. And then the voice in the whispering wind did say, somebody's gonna get hurt someday. In 1972, blow to go to blow, Trouble in the Pine Ridge settlement grew when the cold Dakota winds they blow. And in 1973, blow Dakota blow, the trouble exploded a wounded knee, and the cold Dakota winds they blow. And in 1974, blow Dakota blow, there was a backlash beating at everybody's door, and the cold Dakota winds they blow. And then the warning passed from tongue to tongue, and blow Dakota blow, that there was trouble a-comin' with the federal gun, and the cold Dakota winds they blow. Oh, they took Anime out to jail one day, blow Dakota blow, but just exactly why they never would say, but the cold Dakota winds they blow. Oh, they wanted some facts and they wanted some names, blow Dakota blow, but Anime wouldn't tell them a thing, but the cold Dakota winds they blow. She said, you can kill me dead or you can lock me away, and blow Dakota blow, 'cause that's what you're gonna be doing anyway, and the cold Dakota winds they blow. And they said, alright, you're free to go, and blow Dakota blow, but just don't say we never warned you so, and the cold Dakota winds they blow. Anime went out for a walk one night, oh, but she never lived to see the morning light. Oh, it's a mystery, I heard it said, how Anime died with a bullet in her head. Oh, the story spread both far and wide, blow Dakota blow, how another daughter of the people had died, in the cold Dakota winds they blow. And the people came from many a mile, blow Dakota blow, to lay her away in traditional style, while the cold Dakota winds blow. And the song upon the drum was sung, blow Dakota blow, and the sky covered over and the storm did come, but the cold Dakota winds did blow. And the voice in the howling winds did say, blow Dakota blow, somebody's gonna pay someday for the cold Dakota winds that blow. So thank you very much for coming out. It's a great pleasure and honor for me to come here and perform in Tsunami Books. There is a bucket over there. I don't know how they're, I don't know how strict everything is, but this is my livelihood. This is my living. All this kind of stuff. So and I got some CDs over there, and you know the drill. Dirty water in the falling rain. You wipe your initials in the window pane. Freedom walks on the avenue. You'd be there too if it was up to you. You never give up. You never give up. From the tower block to the battleground, jump on over, it's a long way down. Gravity pulls to the last frontier. There are no other limits here. You never give up. You never give up. You never give up. And though they may slam the door or wipe your face on the floor, you've seen it before, and you never give up. They scared you silly with a faceless god. They wrapped your knuckles with a lightning rod. You carried it with you in a gunny sack. An invisible monkey on your bended back. But you never gave up. You never give up. You beat your head on a solid wall. All you need is a crack, you don't need it all. The wall just laughs and turns away. You keep at it anyway. You never give up. You never give up. You never give up. Through every crooked deal, their laws are made of steel, but they're never half as real as you are when you never give up. There's a world inside where your mind is free, and there's a world outside where you'd like to be. And there's a fine line where your vision clears, and all the distance disappears. And you never give up. You never give up. I'll meet you when the morning comes. The saxophones and the marching drums, gleeful trees by the water's edge, the flowers on the window ledge. They never give up. You never give up. You never give up. Thank you very much.